pasa to the pack? It is Pack here,
aka your mama's best friend.
and I have another roster update. Believe it or not, they are updating the rosters because free agency is like still happening, and every team has been updated in NBA 2K21 on the next generation, and I want to show you guys right now. Before the video starts, so be an OG, join the pack and subscribe. Let's get to 300,000 subscribers. That'd be amazing. So starting off with the Philadelphia 76ers, my favorite thing to say every single time. So they got Dwight Howard, huge pickup for them. You know, it's interesting. Their biggest problem is shooting, which is why they got Seth Curry, Danny Green, but Dwight Howard was also added. I guess it's just a backup for Joel Embiid, or they're going to try some power forward situation, which I don't think is a good idea, but they might do it. We'll see what happens. I think they'll make Tobias Harris a power forward, Joel Embiid the center, Ben Simmons point guard, and then these two will come up. I guess like Seth Curry be shooting guard, Danny Green small forward. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to play it out, but it'll be interesting to see if it works for them, because it could work. Who knows? Okay, for the Milwaukee Bucks, they were supposed to get Bogdanovich, and they didn't. They still have Drew Holiday, but like they kind of got hold in that situation. They get Bobby Portis and DJ Augustine, which are great players like to come off the bench, and Torrey Craig as well. So these are good players to come off the bench. It would have been great though to have Bogdanovich. That would have been perfect for them, but oh well. Now, for the Chicago Bulls, from my understanding, all they have is their rookie, Patrick Williams, and they got Garrett Temple, okay? And that's really it. That's all they've really done, so I wouldn't say they've improved that much this year. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, they add JaVale McGee literally today, which is the reserve center or the backup center for the team. This is still going to be an interesting team. I don't think it's going to be very good, but who knows? I could be wrong, and they still have their rookie. For the Boston Celtics, now this is one that's really interesting because now they have Tristan Thompson. That is a huge pickup because he could even be fighting with Daniel Tice as a starting center, and I'm not even joking about that. Tristan Thompson averaged 12 points and 10 rebounds on very good efficiency last season, and he's a great defender. At the same time, you have Daniel Tice, who statistically was doing less, but who knows, maybe Daniel Tice just fits the system better. We'll see as the season goes on if they end up starting Tristan Thompson or Daniel. And they have Jeff Teague, who's always been a good backup point guard lately. He used to be an all-star from my understanding with the Hawks. Now he's not as good as he was, but I think he can still put up great numbers as a bench player. For the Los Angeles Clippers, you know, for a team that's really trying to fight for a title, they kind of got worse because they lost Montrezl Harrell and they picked up Serge Ibaka, who is 30 years old, so he's younger than I thought, and he really isn't that bad. It's just, I definitely thought Montrezl was better, but maybe this works better for them. Who knows? I'm not sure if they really got that much better. They do have Luke Kennard, who was on the Pistons, who's a very good shooter, and that's an awesome pickup, but still, I don't know if they got better or not. For the Memphis Grizzlies, I think all they did was pick up Mario Hezonja, right? And that's it. Yeah, that's literally all they did. They really didn't get better. For the Atlanta Hawks, this is a team that is like almost guaranteed to make the playoffs now. Now that we already know they had Clint Capella, they get Danilo Gallinari, which is huge. They have tried to sign Bogdanovich. It's not confirmed because the Kings can match it, but like he might be going to the Hawks as well, which would be huge. They have Rondo, who's, as you can tell, as you already know, a great point guard. They have their rookie. They have Chris Dunn, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Like you got a lot of pickups. Anthony Snell, but no one cares about that. This is a very good move by the Hawks, and they might even get better with Bogdanovich very soon. Now for the Miami Heat, I think all they did was get Avery Bradley, and they have this rookie obviously, but Avery Bradley's a pickup for them. He works for their system, and that's perfectly fine. For the Hornets, they get a new best player with Gordon Hayward. They pay him a lot of money, but I mean, you know, Michael Jordan, doing some charity work out here and just giving out money, and he thinks it's gonna work. So who knows? I mean, they could surprise people. They weren't not bad last year. They weren't as bad as they were on paper. They were actually pretty solid. I think they were being coached very well. I think Gordon Hayward's actually a good pickup for them. I think PJ Washington's gonna get even better next season because he was very good last season. And on top of that, LaMelo Ball should be as good as we think he is. So we'll see how it goes throughout the season. The Utah Jazz literally did nothing so far except for re-sign Donovan Mitchell. That's it. For the Sacramento Kings, I think also nothing, right? Yeah, they have the rookie, and that's it. Besides that, I think that's the same, and they might lose Bogdanovich, so who knows. For the Knicks, you know, it's kind of sad when you sign Alec Burks and he might be your third best player. That's a problem. And Alec Burks isn't a scrub at all. Like he averaged 15 a game last season, and it could have been more if he didn't go to the Sixers because he was averaging like 17, I think. So he's very good. I wouldn't call him the most efficient, but he's a good three-point shooter. I guess that helps the Knicks. I mean, getting anything like that is beautiful. And they get Nerlens Noel. This isn't the worst situation, and their starting point guard might be Austin Rivers, so we shall see what happens with them. For the Los Angeles Lakers, Montrezl Harrell, right, is their new center. They steal him, right? They steal him from the Clippers. And Dennis Schroeder, as you already know, is a starting point guard. And they added Marc Gasol today. So now Pau Gasol won a championship with the Lakers. Now Marc Gasol might be the second Gasol brother to win one as well. Huge pickups for them. I mean, this is actually crazy that they were able to get so much better while losing other pieces, and they get Jordan Bell, and they get Wesley Matthews. Like, we're talking about increases, and Alfonso McKinney, which is fine, but we're talking about definite growth with this team, and I still have them as favorites to win the championship next season. For the Magic, actually, I don't think they did anything. They got Dwayne Bacon. They didn't do anything. For the Mavericks, we already talked about this, but they get Josh Richardson, and that's it, I believe. James Johnson, but yeah, they have James Johnson. That's it. That's all they really did, which is kind of crazy. But Josh Richardson fills that third scorer role that they're kind of needing, so that's going to work. And Tim Hardaway Jr. still gets buckets too, so it'll work. I think it will work for them. For the Brooklyn Nets, I don't think they did anything. They got Jeff Green, who's a great backup player. He's always been very good. That's literally all they did was get Jeff Green, which is not a bad pickup at all. For Denver, Isaiah Hartenstein, who was an okay reserve for the Rockets, didn't really play much, but I think if he's given time, he can be very good, so that's not a terrible pickup at all. For the Pacers, I actually don't know if the Pacers got anyone either. Yeah, Pacers didn't really do any work. I know they were trying to get Gordon Hayward, but they didn't. Now, for the Pelicans, you already know they have Eric Bledsoe, and now they get Steven Adams from the trades, and Willie Hernangomez. So a couple centers. Steven Adams is going to work very well for this team. I think it's going to be very solid. Detroit gets Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, Jahlil Okafor, DeLon Wright. So they do get some pickups. Josh Jackson, like, they're definitely trying. I think Josh Jackson was starting to do a little better throughout time. So we'll see if he can pick it up. I remember he was having like a part of the season where he was doing pretty good. He's pretty young, so it's not the worst pickup at all. So they're definitely trying to make some moves. I'm not knocking them for that, but I think that they are pretty bad, and they might be one of the worst teams in the league next season for sure, especially if Blake Griffin gets injured again. The Raptors, so Aaron Baines is their pickup, and that is an amazing pickup because Aaron Baines was so good last season for the Suns. Yeah, I know it says he averaged 12 points and 6 rebounds, but there was a time of the year where he was averaging like 18 a game. Like, he was doing very solid, like very, very solid. So that's a huge pickup for them. And they get DeAndre Bembry, who's always been a pretty decent, defender, so not terrible. The Rockets get Christian Wood, which is a huge pickup. Actually, I think the Rockets is one of the most slept on teams this free agency. Going from basically confirming that you were going to lose Russell Westbrook and James Harden to pick up Christian Wood, right? And also apparently they picked up DeMarcus Cousins. That's huge. Like, that's huge. That's a huge turnaround for this team. I'm very, very impressed with the Rockets and how, again, they are in a position to fight in the West again. Absurd change for them. That's really impressive. The Spurs did absolutely nothing. And it's depressing, but who knows what's going to happen, but so far they've done nothing, and it's kind of depressing. The Suns, you already know they have Chris Paul. They have Jay Crowder now, which is not a bad pickup at all. He was very good for the Heat in the finals, so pretty good pickup for them. I think that they can make the playoffs for sure if they play as good as Chris Paul can lead them, as we know they can, right? For the Thunder, they lose everybody and get a ton of picks, but they get Al Horford, I guess. They get George Hill, Trevor Ariza. So they do get some people, but I think that this might be one of the worst teams in the West for sure. I mean, if they make the playoffs, that's a miracle, but for the Timberwolves, I just used them in a video. They have Ricky Rubio now, first pick in the draft, Anthony Edwards, and that's really it. Ed Davis as well, because, yeah. I don't know. Who knows? They're in the West. It's going to be very hard to compete, but who knows? They could surprise us, but and then the Trailblazers got Robert Covington, which will be either the power forward or the small forward. Who knows how they're going to make it, but I think that's a perfect fit for the Blazers. They definitely needed somebody like that, and they got Enes Kanter and Harry Giles, so definitely good pickups for them. And I think that this team was a Western Conference Finals team just a couple years ago, and I think they can be that still. For the Warriors, they get Kelly Oubre. They just got a little sexier. James Wiseman, as you already know, so They did some important pickups, like getting Kent Bazemore to make their bench a little better, because their bench was a problem. They drafted Nico Mannion, who could be a sleeper. So they lost Klay Thompson, which sucks for sure, but I think that they could still be a good team next season. We're just going to wait and see. And then the Wizards, there's rumors that John Wall was going to get traded, but I don't think that's going to happen. And they drafted Denny, and now they get Robin Lopez and Raul Neto, and that's all they did. I don't want to call them better, but who knows what happens. And this is the roster update of the free agency. Which team do you got the best? Which team do you think had the best free agency? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, give it a sub. And I'll see you guys next time.